LakelandCarKeys.com. We got a 2006 Mercedes ML350. The customer's key to infrared stopped working, so we are working on getting them a new key set up. Basically what we had to do is we had to remove the HVAC panel, and then there's two T15 torque screws. You got to unscrew those, and these little brackets slide down that hold the radio in, and the radio will just come out. You don't have to unhook it. And then unscrew the little ring that holds the EIS in, and then you can stick your hand right in here, unhook these two cables, and it's out. Very simple, very fast. So we are using our Xhorse Key 2 Plus with the solderless EIS adapter, and we're gonna pull all the emo data, security password, and everything we need directly out of the EIS, and then this is the old key, we'll replace it with a new key and inject the EIS data back in it, reinstall everything back into the vehicle, and then once that's done, we should be able to put the key in the car and it'll sync itself back to each other. So this should be a fairly simple job. I'm going to go ahead and finish getting the rest of this information and set up the new key. So when you're hooked up to these and you go to read data, there's two sets of data that are stored on the EIS. You have your EEPROM and you have your flash. So your EEPROM is what's going to have all the information that what's going to allow us to write and make a new key. And the flash is basically like the operating system of the EIS. So when I do these, I make a backup copy of both the EEPROM and the flash, just in case if this EIS is dead and we have to get a replacement one. We need both files to be able to flash to the new unit to clone it. So, it's always a good practice to back up both files. And that's basically what we're doing. So I already did the EEPROM one. This is the flash. I'm going to save it, and then I will move on to actually writing the key. All right, so I kind of skipped over the part of how I got the data from the EIS when I was hooked to the solderless connector. So I'm just going to give you a real quick run through. You go into prog, emo, select bins, and then you have to select your correct EIS. So this is EIS 164, that's the one that we're using. And then you have the option between weld and adapter. Weld is if we were soldering on wires to the EIS, but we're using the solderless adapter. So you just select adapter. It will give you some diagrams of what you should have. We already know that's right. And then we're going to hit read. And then it'll give us two options. It'll give us our EEPROM and our flash. And like I said, the EEPROM is what has all the key information, your password, everything. Flash is the operating system that the EIS runs off of. So it's always the best practice to back both of those up. And then once you have both files, I usually save 2 copies of both files, just in case I go to edit one and it gets messed up or whatever, I have a backup. So that's out of there. And then once we have our data backed up, we could go back to home, and we're going to go into emo programming and select bins. All right, so we're going to select from system. Now what we got to do is prepare a key file. So we have the data already, and we're going to prepare a key file so that we can essentially inject the correct information into this key. So we're here, and we want to take our information that we just saved. So it brings you to this photo location here, but we actually got to go back and find the one that says prog. So I just hit all the way back to the local file and then pad prog, and then it should give us, all right, so yep, today's date, and then this this is another car I did, but these two are what we did today. So we want 164 EEPROM. All right, so we're gonna select 164 EEPROM, open it, and then this is going to, confirm this information is correct. Yep, that's what we want. All right, so that's giving us our password. We are using an Xhorse BE key, so we're going to select 051, select OK. So this goes online. It communicates with the server. It lets it, lets everything know, lets Mercedes Benz knows what we're doing. And this can take a couple of minutes depending on how fast your internet connection is and how many people are trying to activate the server. And what this does is it actually creates a key file for every slot that's in this EIS. So there's 10 key slots. Essentially, it's going to make us 10 051 key files. And if we want to make 2 or 3 keys for this car, we would just select a file for whatever key slot we want to add to and just go on about our business and program them in order. So that was pretty fast. We already did what we need to do online. So now this is going to save the key files in local file, MB, key file, and then this folder here. So we're going to go ahead and click save here. And you can you can select your own file names and own folders if you want. See how it's preparing key 1, preparing key 2. So it's going to go all the way through until 10 and create 10 key files. And this shouldn't take more than 30, 40 seconds to go through the whole process. Well, once we have all these key files, we're only creating 1 key, and I believe originally the original 2 keys were the only keys that were in there, so there will be file 1 and 2, and then we'll go ahead and select file 3 and inject it into this key. All right, so our key file generation is complete. We're going to click OK, and then we can back out of this, and then what we're going to do is read-write key. All right, and then we're going to read-write key via IR. So that's the IR slot that our key is in. We're going to read-write key via IR, start programming. All right, and then we want to write BE key. And we're going to click OK. So this is the file right there that we were just saying that we saved those 10 files in. All right, so, and then, so, like I said, 1 and 2, it tells us are used. Oops, I didn't want to do that. All right, let me get this off because this is a little tricky. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. So now we're back in where we were, and I was saying key 1 and 2 is already used, and then key 3, which is telling us it's the 051 file, and that's the one we're going to use. So we're going to select that, select open. It tells us to insert the new key into the antenna. We're going to go ahead and do that. Now this is writing all of that data in there. It told us, our write is successful. So, all right, the activation, generally inject it into the key to activate. And this is just giving you some instructions if you need to go through and manually activate the key. Usually once you put the key into the EIS that's powered up, sometimes it's instantly, sometimes it takes a minute or two. You might get a warning on the dash saying that it's loading the key data. Sometimes you got to put the key in and out of the EIS, a couple of times, and then essentially it will click. You hear the electronic steering lock activate. That way you're synced and you're able to electronically turn the key into EIS and you're ready to go. Alright, so this is the EIS all back assembled. Same thing, just like the radio. It's two T15 Torx bits that holds them together, and then it's just snapped together. Real easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this back together in the car and see if we can get some power going to it. So this is a little difficult to try to do one-handed, but see, we're able to turn the key in the EIS, and we got power there. The battery was a little low, so I have it hooked up and charging, but so all the remote functions work, so we should be good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble all this, let the battery charge, and then see if it starts up. Alright, and here we are. So I got everything back reassembled. Like I said, it's a real easy process. This just snaps in and out. Two T15 Torx for the radio that holds the little slide brackets. Once you get those screws out, snap them down, the radio pops out. Unscrew the EIS ring, stick your hand in there, and just pull it out from the back. And it reassembles the same way. We are running. I went ahead and just confirmed all the functions for the remote work, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this key blade, and we are all done on this one. Alright, so thank you for watching. If you have any tips for me in the future, this is probably only about the third bins that I've done. You know, I try to steer away from a lot of the Europeans because it's a process, not something I really want to do on the road. In the future, I'm going to do a lot more of them, but have them dropped off at my shop when they could be. But like I said, this one was fairly easy. I've been here for a little while, but you know, the next one I could cut that time in half, and I know what to do, like right off the bat, and just go and bang it out. But yep, so if you have any suggestions for me, please leave them down in the comments. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. But like I said, I'm still learning this as I go along, so I'm no expert. But the Xhorse Key 2 Plus VVDI system has been amazing. I've used a couple of different of the solderless adapters, even with like the BMWs. I use the Cast 3 solderless adapter, and you know, sometimes you gotta do a little cleaning of the board before the pins make good contact. And you know, even on this one, when I was reading the EEPROM and it goes through and it's trying to crack the code for the EIS, the first time it failed. You know, it goes through 50 attempts. It failed the first time. I just ran it through again, and within like the 7th or 8th attempt, I got in and was able to read the EEPROM data. So just because something fails doesn't mean it's not working. Sometimes you gotta do it 2 or 3 times. That's just the way it is. But yeah, like I said, thanks for watching. LakelandCarKeys.com.